My name is Eleanor Sterling, and on my 65th birthday, my family gave me a gift I would never forget, the kind wrapped not in ribbons, but in betrayal. That evening was meant to be joyful. I spent an hour getting ready, choosing my navy blue dress, the one my late husband, Robert, had always said made me look like grace in motion. I put on my pearl earrings, dabbed a hint of perfume behind my ears, and whispered to my reflection, "Let's make tonight special." The restaurant, Bella Vista Grill, had been our family's place for years, anniversaries, graduations, even Robert's last birthday. I walked in expecting warmth and laughter. Instead, I found my son, Jason, sitting stiffly across from his wife, Kiara, who wore that perfect red dress and a smile sharp enough to cut glass. "Happy birthday, Eleanor!" Kiara sang out, her tone dripping with exaggerated cheer. She hugged me, a quick, empty gesture, while Jason offered a quiet kiss on my cheek. I ignored the tension, choosing to believe it was my imagination. Dinner began pleasantly. We chatted about the weather, about Jason's work, about Kiara's latest plans for her home. I smiled to myself, her home, she said. If only she knew who held the title deed. Then, just after dessert, Kiara set her fork down with a soft clink. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Eleanor," she began delicately, "Jason and I have been talking. We're worried about you living alone. You've had a few lapses lately." Jason looked down, his silence confirming this wasn't spontaneous. Kiara went on, her tone syrupy but her intent unmistakable. "There's a wonderful place we found for you, Sunset Gardens. You'll have company, daily care, activities. You'll be so much happier there." I blinked once. "An assisted living facility," I said evenly. "Community," Jason corrected softly. "Mom, please understand, we just want what's best." I looked at him, my son, my only child. I thought of the nights he'd fallen asleep on my shoulder, of the boy who used to tell me I was his favorite person in the world. And now, here he was, letting someone else decide my worth. Kiara reached over, patting my hand with mock sympathy. "We've already scheduled your move for Monday. Don't worry, we'll handle everything." That was when the storm inside me went still. I smiled, not the polite smile they expected, but the kind that comes from seeing something clearly for the first time. "Well," I said, taking a sip of my wine, "if this is my last dinner as a free woman, I should savor it." Kiara chuckled lightly. "Don't be dramatic, Eleanor. It's just a new chapter." "Yes," I said, setting down my glass. "A new chapter indeed. And as it turns out, it's also the last dinner you'll have in a house of your own." Her expression faltered. Jason looked confused. "Mom, what does that mean?" "You'll understand tomorrow," I replied, rising from my chair. I left a few bills on the table, wished them both a pleasant evening, and walked out, feeling, for the first time in years, completely in control. At home, I sat by the window with a glass of wine, the moonlight touching the photographs on the mantel, Robert in his uniform, Jason as a child, our family before distance grew between love and loyalty. Then, I picked up the phone. "Mr. Martinez," I said when my lawyer answered. "It's time to finalize the papers. I think my family needs a gentle reminder of how things really stand." By morning, Edward Martinez was sitting in my kitchen, the smell of coffee filling the air. "They finally went too far, didn't they?" he said quietly. I nodded. "They did." He opened his briefcase. "You still want to proceed with the property transfer protections?" "Yes," I said firmly. "They've mistaken my kindness for weakness long enough." Robert and I had spent years building a quiet fortune, properties, savings, investments no one knew about. Jason thought I lived on a pension, when in truth, I still owned 5 homes, including the one he and Kiara lived in. "Then let's begin," Edward said. "We'll issue a 1-week eviction. You have every legal right." "And the automatic payments?" I asked. "Cancelled, starting today." "Good," I said softly. "Let's see how well they manage without the woman they wanted to put away." When Edward left, I called Jason. Mom, he said cautiously. About last night. Jason, I need you to come see me. Alone. I don't think Kiera. Jason, I interrupted gently, if you want answers, come by yourself. He arrived looking torn between guilt and confusion. Mom, please, what's going on? I slid the documents across the table. He read silently, eyes widening with every page, the deeds, the accounts, the letter revoking all financial support. The house, it's yours, he whispered. It always was, I said quietly. Every bill, every payment, I covered it. And I would have kept helping if kindness hadn't been mistaken for frailty. Tears filled his eyes. I didn't know. Kiera said. I know what she said, I interrupted softly. But you never asked me, Jason. You just believed her. He lowered his head, ashamed. What are you going to do? I'm giving you 7 days to move out. What happens after that depends on you. He looked up, his face pale. Mom. I'm sorry. I reached out and touched his cheek, the same cheek I'd kissed goodnight countless times. I know, I said gently. That's why I'm giving you the chance to remember who you are, before she taught you to forget. A week later, Jason came back, alone this time. He looked older somehow, humbled. In his hand, he held a small velvet box. I found this while packing, he said. Inside lay my pearl bracelet, the one Kiera had borrowed years ago and never returned. I think it's yours. I smiled, eyes stinging with tears. Thank you, Jason. He looked around the house, the same one where he'd taken his first steps. It feels different without her. It's not the house that changed, I said softly. It's the heart inside it. We sat together that evening, mother and son, mending the quiet spaces between us. I poured tea instead of wine. We spoke of Robert, of childhood, of beginnings that come after endings. And for the first time in a long while, I felt at peace. They had tried to take my independence. Instead, I rediscovered my strength. Because sometimes, life doesn't end when people decide it should. Sometimes, it starts again, quietly, fiercely, beautifully, at 65.